Hello and welcome to week number 6 to Introduction with Courts. This has been, as far as courts goes, this has been a very, very interesting week with judges, both here in Massachusetts and on the federal level. As a result of that, I've changed the syllabus so that we're going to move judges ahead of prosecutors and defense attorneys, and we're going to focus in on them today. I think it's really important because of the things that are happening both here in the state and nationally. Here in Massachusetts, we knew from last week's to the week before's lesson that the Governor's Council appoints our judges. They confirm our judges. The judges go through a nominating process with a judicial nominating committee. They pass the names on to Governor Baker, and then Governor Baker makes the recommendation, and then the Governor's Council, the 8 members, will vote on the judge to either say that the judge is going to be confirmed or they may deny it. And this particular case this week, there was a judge that was all set to be confirmed on last Wednesday. Everything, all the ducks were in a row, everything was ready to go until an investigative reporter, did some digging on the background of this judge. I don't know if somebody dropped a dime on the reporter or whatever, but the reporter found out that this judge in the past had an arrest in Quincy, and he was arrested for assault and battery. The reporter went to the Quincy Police Department to get a police report, which under the Freedom of Information Act, you can get that. Unfortunately, the Quincy police denied it because they said it was a domestic situation. And you cannot release a domestic incident report unless the victim agrees to have that report released. And at that point, it didn't come to fruition, and so the Governor's Council voted to delay the nomination of this person, the judge. And what's at stake for this person that's got that nomination is the fact that he was all lined up to get a $184,000 a year job until he reached the age of 70. And so there's a lot going on there. And so it's going to be interesting to see if the judge puts this person's name again before the Governor's Council, or if he's going to withdraw his nomination to a judgeship here in Massachusetts. Even more interesting is on the national level, where President Trump has nominated a Amy Coney Barrett to become an Associate Justice to the United States Supreme Court to replace Ruth Bader Ginsburg. This could be a significant challenge, both politically, because she's been nominated. We have a Republican-controlled Senate, and they have the votes to confirm her. However, there's opposition from the Democrats, who are more liberal, because of her rulings sometimes, and her personal feelings regarding Roe versus Wade, and that's the right for a woman to choose. And so there's going to be all kinds of things going on the next couple of weeks regarding this. She is a very qualified person. She was a law professor at Notre Dame. She has an impeccable record. She's a mother, has 7 children, 2 of whom were adopted. Her husband's an attorney. And so it's going to be interesting to see what's going to happen, because as you pointed out in your lessons last week, is that we have the presidential election November 3rd. And if that happens where the Democrats take control of the Senate, then what's going to happen with the vote? So it's going to be a very interesting thing to go on there. And I just want you to look at the background of Justice Barrett, who was the federal judge Barrett, in doing that. So we're looking at that. Another interesting thing that's happened is here in Massachusetts with police and the courts is what's called the Brady Rule. And the Brady Rule says that anytime a police officer is going to testify in court before a judge or before a jury, if that police officer has had some disciplinary and truth situations while they were a police officer, the district attorney has to notify either defense attorney or judge that this officer at some point in time has been disciplined regarding his or her actions as a police officer. And that can be very damning to a credibility of an officer. And this does happen. It happened With our department, we had 3 officers that falsified a report on a murder investigation, and for the rest of their careers, even they had good intentions as to what they were doing, but you just can't do things. They tried to change the report after a gentleman was murdered by his girlfriend. They originally went to the call for a domestic. They separated them, brought her someplace else. For a while later, she made it back to the apartment and killed him with a baseball bat. And but then they changed the reports. And the thing is that, as I tell all officers, that when you're using a computer, particularly a computer within your cruiser or within the department, is that there's no such a thing as delete. They might as well take that delete button and throw it out in the street. And so they got caught and they paid the consequences. And so there's some very interesting reading for you. District Attorney Rollins started the ball rolling, released the names of state police officers, Boston police officers, Everett, Chelsea officers, and out in the Berkshires, those were released. Middlesex has just released them. Here in Essex County, they haven't released it. We'll see what's going to happen with that. So that's just for your information there. The next thing that we're going to be looking at this week is about judges and how they're selected, what's the criteria for them, and all those types of things. So I have a thing there about the selection and confirmation of federal judges. A little bit different here than Massachusetts. All federal judges have to be nominated by the president. They have to go before the Senate Judiciary Committee. The committee will make a recommendation for that person to either go forward for a full Senate hearing to be confirmed. Then once they're confirmed, they have a lifetime appointment, unlike Massachusetts, which is just for age 70. In those particular cases, the judges will have that job for life. So it's a very important thing in doing those things there. And we're also looking at the fact that judges are the backbone of our system of checks and balances with our executive branch, the legislative branch, and the judicial branch. And what that does is it really places the thing for judges to rule on the Constitution. And what happens sometimes with legislatures, it's some interesting things that you're going to learn here about laws and about ways that laws could be overruled by a judge and then resubmitted and re-legislated so that it comes into the within the confines of the judge's ruling. So some interesting things, but excuse me, the fascinating things is the fact that our Constitution was prepared for that, and we're going to really see nowadays, particularly with this upcoming election, the role of our judges within our constitutional system in doing those things there. So we'll look at that. We'll look at again the civility that comes with a judge. I have a very interesting thing called pathways to the courts. And with the pathways to the courts, you're going to see 3 individuals and how they made it to the federal bench. And it's just a reaffirmation of the fact that not all judges are coming from your Ivy League schools and coming from wealth and all that. Some very heartwarming stories for you to look at, and how people have overcome certain challenges in life and come out and have been very successful jurists. And so you'll be looking at that. The other thing is that a little known thing in the federal system is a magistrate judge. And you're just going to see a short explanation of how magistrate judges assist the higher court judges in the appeals courts and the Supreme Court, and how they work and act in the different types of cases that they can have and the impact that they have on the system. I just want to also finish up with the fact that behind the scenes of all our courts and judges are some either appointed or elected officials. And I just want to go over some of the things here for you to know about here in Massachusetts and also at the federal level. And in doing that, we're going to look at federal and Massachusetts criminal justice leaders. You should know these people and know who they are. It's all part of being a citizen here in Massachusetts. So we look at we go from the top, the United States Supreme Judicial Court, and we have Chief Justice John Roberts. He is the ninth juror. He's the person that's been selected as the person that heads the whole Supreme Court. Oftentimes becomes a swing vote, particularly in a 5-4 vote. And we'll see what happens now with what's going on with the process of filling Ruth Bader Ginsburg's position on the Supreme Court and how that's going to work. The next thing in line within our justice system for our regular Supreme Court members, the makeup of the Supreme Court is going to be changed with the addition of a new associate justice. The big law enforcement person here on the federal level is United States Attorney General William Barr. He's responsible for the whole department, oversees the whole Department of Justice. You've seen the whole chart of the makeup of the U.S. Department of Justice. He's our chief law enforcement officer. He oversees the entire federal judicial system. They have all the FBI, Homeland Security, all those types of things. They have very, very powerful job with there. An unknown position in the federal government is a thing called the United States Solicitor General. The United States Solicitor General currently is a gentleman by the name of Jeff Wall. And he is, in fact, he's the attorney for the United States of America. When some other foreign country, organization, or individual or corporation sues the United States, the United States Solicitor General handles that case. Our Massachusetts Attorney General is a woman by the name of Maura Healey. She is in charge of the Massachusetts thing. Unlike the federal system, our Massachusetts Attorney General deals mainly with consumer situations, fraud, elder fraud. She deals with people, banks. She deals with situations, even for you that have student loans. Watches out for that. She watches out for consumer fraud, no matter what it is, and works with that. She's a wonderful, wonderful woman, and takes care of that and doing those things. We have our Massachusetts Supreme Court. And what happens with that, the Chief Justice Ralph Gantz, that position hasn't been filled yet, but the next in line of Chief Justice Massachusetts Supreme Court, that's going to be filled. Here in Essex County, our district attorney is Jonathan Blodgett. He's in charge of everything here in Essex County and works to oversee all our police and prosecutions in the courts here in Massachusetts. Very, very nice gentleman, and very, very good to work with. So that's in a nutshell those positions that are there and doing those things. So I just wanted everybody to get a kind of a feel of that. Just lastly, I'm finishing up. I gave you that announcement regarding the incident at Salem State this past weekend. I just want to emphasize the fact that we realize that the majority of students at Salem State are wonderful people, and unfortunately, just like in policing, it just takes one bad apple or a couple bad apples to spoil things. But I just want to just reiterate the fact that we're proud of what our institution does and our students, and we just want to make sure that during this pandemic that everybody's safe and healthy, and just the fact that we don't need things like that, then to be aware of the consequences that come with that. So just a little heads up on that. And I look forward again to all your replies from here. I just want you to make sure that you read everything and understand everything. Again, anytime you have any questions, anytime you have anything that you want to add, please feel free to contact me. I'm available all the time. I'm constantly on checking emails and all that. So just have a good week. Stay safe, and stay healthy out there. And look forward to your submissions for this week number 6. Take care.